Another glorious evening. Another glorious evening. It's the deal though. Yeah. Just a quick check-in and all that. You heard? Real quick. You know I'm up. It's Thursday. Excuse me. Cooking tonight. You know, quick check-in real quick, you know what I'm saying? You know, of course, just to let the people know, you already know that definitely on deck. I'm in the building. I'm around, but of course, you heard. So yeah, um, you know, whatever you don't catch now, you know what I'm saying, you can always go to the playback. But yeah, you know, we out here. Um, just kind of, you know, wanted to share a little bit, you know, see where you at with it, you know, and just, you know, get a few exchange of words real quick, you know what I'm saying, while I prepare uh, dinner, which is not really much of a dinner tonight in terms of sitting down and having dinner per se, but of course the meal that I'm prepping tonight will be definitely, you know, tended to tomorrow. You know, and with that being said, you know what I'm saying, I got quite a few new recipes under the belt. So right now, tonight, when I'm cooking, I got that on the stove right now. You know, when a few of y'all roll up in the building, I'm gonna show you what I got going on. But I'm making the cabbage soup tonight, you know, and that cabbage soup consists of, and if you know, you know, and if you don't, I'll let you know, and that's the ground turkey, right? So I got the ground turkey, the cabbage, celery, and carrots, and it's well seasoned. I got the unsalted chicken stock, like the broth. This is my second time making it. The first time it was a smash. So indeed, I'm doing a part two to that. So like I said, I got a few new recipes under the belt as far as the cooking, and I'm very proud of me for, you know, going outside the box and, you know, the usual of what I cook often, you know. So hey, you know what I'm saying, I'm tapping into that culinary energy, you feel me? And that's so important for, you know, fitness, you know what I'm saying? It's so important for being able to monitor and, you know, just know exactly what ingredients, you know, you putting forth with your meals, you know, your self-prepared meals. You know, I think it's a beautiful thing. It's it's time consuming but worth it, right? And yeah, yeah, that's a fact. Yeah, I'm using broth. I don't want to just use water. And it's unsalted, by the way, and it got 100 milligrams of salt. You know, but the ground turkey is well seasoned. You dig? So yeah, you know what I mean. I definitely make sure that, you know, that's well seasoned, and I put some seasoning inside the um, the cabbage, the celery, and the carrots. And you know, I could have added more veggies, but I don't want to overdo it. My pot is big, but it's not big to where I could just I don't want to overdo it, and I just leave it at that. But the thing is too, uh, going forward, you know, again, I'll mix it up. You know what I'm saying? And you know, that's what it is. But tonight, this is a quick fix, and you know, but I'm gonna show you. Matter of fact, right? And if y'all, whoever don't catch it right now, you know what I'm saying, you get it on the playback, you heard? So boom. Let me show you what's going on here. Boom. So that's the ground turkey right there. You know, we do this for real, right? So let me lift off, you know what I mean? Take the top off of this right here. Let me place this down here. Boom. Right? And there we go. That's the cabbage right here, you heard? With the celery. So I put the bay leaves in that. You see what I'm saying? So put the top back on that like so. You see what I'm saying? So, boom. Yeah. On that type of time. Yeah, I do. Yeah. I was asked what you got in the turkey, the green peppers. Yeah, that's a fact. I definitely do. I got the green peppers, the onions. What I got the pimento seeds, pimento. Yeah, the pimento joints. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I got the pimento joints in there. Yeah. Fire. It's fire. Word. Do you mind if you shout me out? I'm a small creator and trying to get money for my mom. Shout out to Mason. You're trying to get money for Mom Duke? That's good. I support that. You're trying to get money for your moms? That's what's up. Yeah, make sure Mom Duke is alright. Yeah. You know? But yeah, that's the type of time I'm on, you heard? So I got the meal. Like I said, I do this for real, y'all. You know what I mean? So what an opportunity, why? Because be honest with you, before I went live, I was gonna read a little bit and just to share with you. Oh, I picked that up. So what I'm reading right now is this right here. It's mindset. Let me see. Right here. This joint right here. Yeah, it's fire. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So, yeah, that's what I'm reading right now. It's a good book. It's Mindset, The New Psychology of Success. And that's by Carol S. Dweck. If I'm pronouncing it, I don't want to say it the wrong way. Bro, you might not believe it, but I be having the wild turkeys on my land eating my corn. Nah, I ain't doubting you. Where you from, though? Where you from? Because speaking of wild turkeys, here in Long Island, see, but where I'm at, I'm in Long Island. I'm closer to the city. You know what I'm saying? I'm in Hempstead, Long Island. So I'm at exit 19. I'm closer to New York City than anything. But speaking of wild turkeys, I know that, and not just know, I've seen for my own, through my own eyes. You know what I'm saying? I seen turkeys. That's a common thing out in out east in Long Island, New York, by the way. I'm not sure where you from, but they got wild turkeys way out east, like in Bellport. That's where I seen them at, like Bellport, Medford. Big turkeys too, huge, and they no joke. You know what I'm saying? They could be aggressive. You get too close to them things, man. For real. Yeah, but I'm saying I asked you where you was from though. Where you at? Oh, you from the SIP? Oh, Islip? You from Long Island and Islip? B1. You from Long Island? shout it out if so. You know what I mean? But yeah, so that's what's taking place. We also wanted to just make mention of it. It's been a hell of a winter. Big shout out to y'all. Oh, Chicago born, Mississippi raised. Shout out to the South. You know what I mean? Shout out to Chicago and all that. Word. Yeah. Oh, you said hell nah. All right. Now when you said sip, I don't know. I thought cause they got a when you said I'm from the sip family, I thought you I didn't know what you meant, but they got a I appreciate that. Big shout out to you for choosing to subscribe. Word. But yeah, when you said I'm from the sip, I thought you was talking about because it's a town in Long Island where I'm from, New York, called Islip. So, you know, that was my guess. Yeah, I appreciate y'all. I see that like button being I see that pressure being applied to that like button. Word, much gratitude. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's what I'm doing tonight. I actually another thing too, I gotta work in the morning, so I wanted to do something a little different tonight. I mean, I've done um, home workouts on the channel, indeed, but I was gonna do some before before going to bed reps, but this is way too late now. I still got that food cooking, so I'm gonna reserve my energy for tomorrow. But I was gonna do some push-ups tonight on live, but it didn't work out. You know what I'm saying? But I still wanted to, show y'all what's going on in my downtime. While I'm just waiting for this food to finish cooking and getting my, just getting my thoughts together. We at the end of the week. It's Thursday, and I just, kind of wanted to, yeah, like I said, talk about how, you know, getting through this winter. You know what I'm saying? Was a very demanding winter. You know what I'm saying? It was extremely cold. We really ain't get no let up in terms of the temperature increasing. You know what I'm saying? For the most part, we've been battling with tons of snow. So for everybody who was out there, and if you were working out in particular, big shout out to you. You know what I'm saying? If you was out there on your grind and you ain't let the elements impede or get in the way of you, training, and you ran toward the elements like I did, big shout out to you. You know what I'm saying? And the beautiful thing about, out there in the wintertime and again, stepping out of one's comfort zone and really pushing oneself and having that fortitude to, you know, get into a space where you're able to enjoy, you know, working out under such conditions. You know what I'm saying? It's a beautiful thing. And for me, I get a thrill. It's like that sense of earning, you know, and then not for nothing, the work that took place, you see, it will be revealed because it's about to get warm. It's about to get hot. And I got a feeling that 2026, I got a feeling it's going to be super up. And a lot of that is going to be because of such, you know what I'm saying, a brutal winter. You know what I'm saying? I gotta say, we ain't have a winter like this in a long time. You know, the snow, the the temperatures being at a all-time low for days and days on end. You know, really forcing people to stay indoors. You know what I'm saying? So I think 2026 may be, it's going to be a little hotter in terms of not just the temperature. I'm just talking about the energy within the people. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be a hot summer for real. I believe that. I could feel it already. You know, that's just my take on it. At least for me, it's going to be that too because, and I, what I experienced, you know, with this time of dealing with this winter is that uh, it seemed a little longer. You know what I'm saying? You know, I gotta be honest. You feel me? Because even with me, it's like, all right, now it's enough is enough. You know, yeah, I relish in it. You know what I'm saying? I always share about how you know, I have a great amount of enjoyment, and yeah, I do. But I also have a great appreciation for that warmer weather. So now it is enough is enough, and it's been raining all day, and like overnight, damn near all that snow is gone, and that's the indications that spring is here, baby, and the time goes forward, right? I think next week, so you know it's about to get hot, baby. You know what I'm saying? For sure, it's about to get hot, and that's when I could start doing my groundwork too outside, my ground workouts. You know, the planking, and I'm gonna get some videos up and running with that. Again, you'll see. You know what I'm saying? And it, you know, and those the exercises I'm talking about, what I have in mind, they aren't as popular as like the pull-ups, push-ups, and dips, and but don't sleep on that groundwork. You know, when you're doing your crunches, when you're doing your planks, you know, when you're doing your leg lifts and things of that nature, like for your glutes. I'm going to, you know, I could show you better than I could tell you, but you're going to see what I'm talking about with the demonstrations. You feel me? So, uh, what's up? So, yeah, you know what I mean? It's going to be up. It's going to be up for 2026. Um, I got, you know, some major changes in my personal life. That's not so exciting, but it's life. And, you know, one day maybe I'll share with you all, you know, because there's definitely, you know, social media in real life. You feel me? So, yeah, but, you know, in terms of the fitness and that part of, you know, why we're here ultimately, right? And not just fit physically, but mentally, you know what I'm saying? I can't never leave that out, you know, so that's what it's hitting for, you know. It's going to be a beautiful uh, spring. Um, and the new year is still fresh, might I add. Okay, so you know we it's still fresh, you know. So whatever that is, you know, for you to, yeah, it's fire. Yeah. So whatever that is gonna bring forth in your life in terms of not just nature and the earth, but what's gonna blossom out of you, right? What's gonna blossom out of me in terms of new growth, right? Mentally, new growth, physically. You feel what I'm saying? And that's the beauty of now the transition of the seasons, right? We're gonna witness and see what has been taking place within those winter months, right? So again, whatever that growth, whatever that will be revealed with you, right? When these warmer days, are more available to us. You dig? So, yeah, like I said, a quick check-in, and I didn't work out. I'm gonna also share this too. I didn't work out all week, and I feel good. I feel revived, and I can afford it. You feel me? I can afford it because the reason I can afford it is that I do my workouts be so intense, right? A lot of times my workouts be so intense that it's enough to cover two days, 2 and 3 days, especially with those burpees. I do so many. The minimum, the absolute minimum is 200. And it's not just burpees. I also incorporate other exercises when I'm doing burpees all the time. But the minimum is 200, but I try not to go below 300. So a very demanding exercise, and depending on how you do those, right? Because everybody has a different pace, everybody has a different way in which they do it. For example, some people, they go to the ground, they might not do the push-up, they come back up, just touch their touch their stomach, and then that's it. Whereas, like for me, and I do mines where I have to, when I arrive to the ground, I have to do the push-up. I have to, when I depart from the ground, I have to extend my hands to the air, right? But again, the consistency and again, how much of a follow-up in between your sets, all of that is a factor in terms of basically the amount of demand you place on oneself. But I'm just saying that to say, when it comes to those type of demanding exercises such as the burpees, and then combined with the calisthenics, right? So how I do it is I have to give the burpees all the attention. Meaning, if I'm set at doing 300 or 500 burpees, that whole routine is solely committed to the burpees. Once I complete that routine, then I'll go make my way to the pull-up bar, to the dip bar, to the push-up bar, whatever the case may be. And then that's a whole separate routine. And those are the days when I spend a lot of time in the park between two separate workouts, but it's still one routine in terms of the time frame, right? But I just separated because two totally different exercises, from the plyometrics, which are the burpees, to the calisthenics, which is of course, pull-ups, push-ups, dips, body weight workouts, right? And I said all that to say, again, very demanding, right? From the burpees itself, exerts a lot of energy. And then if you either do the calisthenics or do weightlifting to follow up with that, um, now we're talking about the strength training, you know, and again, exerting a lot of energy and a lot of wear and tear on the body in a good way. You dig? In a good way. So, and then a thorough workout, right? Not no kind of uh, slacking within those routines, and so that offers me the ability to take off 2 days straight, as I did, and I haven't done that in a while, but once in a while, that's when I'll take these breaks. You know, like I did this week. The last time I worked out was Sunday. Today is Thursday. Now I also wanted to share this though, right? And this is the beautiful thing. And this is where I also get a kick out of, right? With my own self is that I my body is screaming for attention. It wants to it's giving me signals, right? I feel the need to work out. And I love that as well, right? Where the body is on its own accord, sort of begging. You feel what I'm saying? To get to it. You know, it's sort of like a good way to describe it. It's like, you know, a pit bull. You know that. You know how when pit bulls be scratching and like they crying, not even necessarily barking, they panting and crying and you know they want to get at that target. You know what I'm saying? Like so that's kind of like you know the analogy in terms of like how the body should again be talking to you, and that's how I always uh, speak about that appetite. You know the body should be talking to you, not again to place the demand of wanting to take action, and that's the body talking to you. You feel me? So, um, yeah, I didn't work out this week, and I feel refreshed. I needed the rest. You know what I'm saying? I do a lot in terms of being active in general. You know what I'm saying? Between work and especially during these winter times where the days are shorter, right? So you figure, you know, after a whole day of work, and then after that, I go pick up my son, right? Drop him off home or stop home. A lot of times, so many nights that I'm walking to the gym, right? Leaving the gym 9:30, sometimes 10 o'clock at night. Now I gotta get up, I gotta be up 5 o'clock in the morning, you dig? So, that in itself is a high demand on the physical. I'm conditioned, which is a beautiful thing to do so. But yeah, still I'm human. You know what I'm saying? I need my rest too. You are so. It catches up with me at times where, I'll be tired. You feel what I'm saying? I get tired, right? And but once I get that caught up rest, that proper rest, you feel me? I'm just ready to go again. You know what I'm saying? And that's the beauty in it, right? In terms of not having to rely on some form of a enhancement, right? Energy drink wise, or caffeine, or something that give you a boost. That just from get things that'll give you a boost that so many people rely on, and if one is able to really experience having a tremendous amount of energy just off of sheer conditioning, sheer work, you know. The beauty in that is priceless. Literally priceless. You don't have to come out of pocket for it, you know. But it does require sacrifice, you know, and that's another thing too. You feel me? With when we talking about this whole working out thing, it's the sacrifice. I mean, I spend a lot of time doing this. You feel me? And if I didn't love it, I wouldn't do it. Of course, you know. But yeah, it's a lot of sacrifice with that, you know. And so that rest is very much needed, you know. And then the work that I do is a physical job on top of that, right? I've shared that before. So again, I'm conditioned, right? And then the pros, or what is to my advantage, is that I don't partake in controlled substances. So if that was a part of my life, I'd be wiped out. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't be able to do what I do in terms of being able to function and operate within a high energy capacity. And you feel me? You know what I'm saying? That just, it wouldn't work. You know what I mean? It just wouldn't work. So yeah, like I said, I'm on a quick check-in. You know, I'm gonna see how this food is. Let me, by the way, let me see how this cabbage is. See how this joint is. Water. Let me turn this down a little bit. Now it's starting to boil. Yeah, it's looking like something, y'all. Get that. So this one right here, I made it early in the week, so that was over the weekend. And when I made it, yeah, that's nice right there. It's more soupy. I didn't put that much. I didn't put that much broth as much as I should have the last time. So you know what I'm saying. You know, when you do this cooking thing, you get better like anything else. You know, with trial and error. But you still got to know what you're doing. You still got to have a high level of being familiar with that kitchen, though. You dig? Still got to have a high level of, you know, being familiar with cooking at all in the first place. You know what I mean? So sometimes you just kind of short yourself on certain ingredients or what have you, forget things, and it happens. But this time around, I'm gonna see what it's hitting for. Looking, well, it's got definitely the right amount of broth this time. Last time I didn't put enough broth, but it still was fire. You feel me? Because the texture of the food, well cooked, well seasoned, all that, you know, and it seals the deal. You know, make that thing al dente. Is that how they say it? Or, you know, al dente. I don't know if I'm saying it the right way, but if I'm saying it the right way, you know what I'm saying? It's official. You know what I mean? It's hitting. You know, on that time. But yeah. So like I said, you know, I just wanted to come tap in real quick, have a few words, and just show you what I'm doing tonight too with this cooking. So whoever didn't catch this live now, you know, the playback will be available. Like I said, tonight I'm cooking the cabbage soup. So I have ground turkey, the cabbage, the carrots, the celery, well seasoned. You know what I think I'm gonna put in there next time? Some potatoes. Not many, but some potatoes. That's what it's missing too. Potatoes. Ain't no carbs in that. That's fine though. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna put some potatoes in it next time. That's what I'm gonna do. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do next time. Speaking of leaving out ingredients and all that, I'm gonna add those potatoes next time. For sure. For sure, for sure. Then I was looking at this real quick right before I close out. Cause now I'll be looking at, or yeah, like I saw a Mexican lasagna joint. You know what I mean? So I might tackle that. Make the Mexican lasagna. You know what I mean? That joint looked like it was crazy. You know what I'm saying? So that, you know, that's gonna be up next. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's about to be up for 2026. Like I said, you know, and I can't wait. You know, the weather is always in my favor during that time, especially with, you know, me being able to grasp that bar, you know, and all that. For those who don't know, you know, I got nerve damage in my hands, and but you know, I still do what it do. I still make it, you know, produce greatness within. Indeed, I do. But yo, let me get up out of here, y'all. I just wanted to come through on the check-in real quick, yo. I appreciate y'all who had come forth and hit that like button. You know what I'm saying? If you chose to subscribe, you know what I'm saying, much gratitude in advance. You know, yeah. Let me get to this and stuff, man, because it's getting late. I'm gonna do some reading real quick. You know, I like to end the night with that instead of social media. You know, I want to you know, get some read on. You know, let that permeate throughout your brain. You know, look up some words in the dictionary and things of that nature. You know, I like doing that. And then with this book right here, just a real quick talking about a book, it talks about the growth mindset and the fixed mindset. You know, it's in the lane of those other books. You know, the power of the subconscious mind. You know, outwitting the devil and the alchemy. You know, all those type of, you know, self enhancement books. You know what I'm saying? So it's a good way to, before you get a good night's sleep, to have that rotating in your subconscious mind. You feel me? So that's what it is. I'm gonna catch you on the next go around. You know, and you know what time it is. You know what I mean? Super up. But of course, 2026, we are here. We in March. It's a very long month. So much could be taken advantage of in terms of the work. We got work to do. Catch you on the next go around. Peace.